Imagine a 600-year-old remedy from Japan that revitalizes your blood flow better than any pricey monthly prescription ever could. Think it's hidden on purpose because a healthy senior doesn't generate profits? Prepare to be surprised, especially if you are over 75 and relying on daily beet juice. The harsh truth is that beet juice alone becomes basically useless as you age. It relies on a specific process where nitrates change into nitric oxide, widening your veins to rush fresh blood to your brain, heart, and legs. But past 75, that process breaks down completely. The helpful bacteria in your mouth that trigger this reaction have been wiped out by dry mouth and decades of daily medications. You drink the juice, but the nitrates just leave your body without doing a single thing for your circulation. Huge medical companies are perfectly happy letting you stay in the dark. I had a 72-year-old patient who faithfully drank beet juice every morning for 3 years. He still suffered from numb feet, freezing hands, and high blood pressure while taking 2 prescription drugs. His nitric oxide levels were at absolute rock bottom. All that effort was completely wasted. Then I had him mix 6 specific Japanese ingredients into his daily glass. We changed absolutely nothing else. Within 4 weeks, his nitric oxide levels soared. His blood pressure fell so much his doctor actually took him off one of his pills. His hands warmed right up, and he could finally walk around the neighborhood without agonizing calf cramps. He was amazed by his own lab results. These 6 ingredients fix that broken nitrate pathway, shield the nutrients from stomach acid, nourish the right mouth bacteria, and push your nitric oxide production to its absolute peak. They are highly affordable, rooted in ancient traditions, and ignored by modern advertising. Pay close attention, especially for our #1 ingredient, which completely restores the exact bodily function you lose after 75. Without it, the other 5 barely function. I have linked all the scientific sources down in the description. Before we dive in, drop a comment letting me know your age and where you are watching from. I personally read and reply to every single comment. Now, let us kick things off with ingredient number 6, a powerful shield that prevents nitrates from breaking down before they even enter your bloodstream. Number 6 is kombu, the deep-sea guardian of your vessels. Kombu is a dense, dark sea vegetable that has served as the foundation of Japanese cuisine for over a millennium. It is the base of nearly every traditional soup broth across Japan, yet most people in the West do not even know it exists. Hidden inside this modest seaweed is an incredible substance known as fucoidan, and this is where it gets highly beneficial for your circulation. Fucoidan is a complex carbohydrate covered in sulfur molecules. The amazing part is how it closely mimics the effects of heparin, a common hospital drug used to stop blood from clotting. Back in 2015, the journal Marine Drugs released a study testing kombu-derived fucoidan on human blood. They discovered it slashed platelet aggregation, which is when your blood cells stick together to form dangerous clumps, by roughly 18 to 23% based on the dosage. That is a massive reduction from a simple piece of seaweed. Another project from Japan's Kyushu University monitored more than 1,200 older adults. They learned that those eating seaweed like kombu regularly had significantly better blood flow in their limbs. Their ankle brachial index, a test checking circulation to the legs, was about 8% higher than those who avoided it. Here is why combining this with beet juice is so brilliant. Beet juice aims to create nitric oxide and widen your vessels. But if your blood is sluggish and sticky, simply opening the pathways is not enough for great circulation. Imagine a busy highway. Beet juice adds more lanes, while fucoidan from the kombu clears out the traffic jams to keep cars moving smoothly. They work in perfect harmony to tackle 2 totally different circulatory issues at exactly the same time. Making kombu a part of your daily beet juice habit is incredibly easy through a cold brew tea. Buy dried kombu strips for a couple of bucks at an Asian market or online. Take a 4-inch piece and soak it in 2 cups of cold water in your fridge overnight. This slow, cold process pulls the fucoidan out gently without ruining it with high heat. The next morning, take out the seaweed and pour 3 to 4 tablespoons of that infused water straight into your beet juice. If you are in a rush, you can also simmer the kombu on low heat for 15 minutes. Just do not let it boil, as severe heat destroys those precious sulfur compounds. Top longevity experts in Japan suggest consuming fucoidan-rich foods 4 to 5 times a week to actually measure a difference in your veins. Because it is virtually tasteless when watered down, it will not ruin the flavor of your morning juice at all. While kombu guards your veins from the outside, our next edition tackles the problem from a totally different angle by dropping your pressure from the inside. Number 5 is miso, the fermented pressure controller. Miso is a deep, savory paste crafted from fermented soybeans, famously used in Japanese soups. At a quick glance, you might think it is awful for circulation because of its high salt content. We are all taught that salt makes blood pressure spike, right? Well, Japanese scientists proved that completely wrong here. A massive project by the National Cancer Center in Japan observed over 40,000 people for more than a dozen years with stunning results. Folks eating daily miso soup did not show worse rates of high blood pressure. Actually, those enjoying 2 or more bowls a day lowered their chances of serious heart issues by 17% compared to those who rarely ate it. The scientists realized that fermenting the beans produces unique elements called melanoidins and bioactive peptides. These elements fight off the sodium and actively lower blood pressure using a process called ACE inhibition. That is the exact same mechanism many prescription blood pressure pills use. Miso just does it the natural way. A follow-up clinical trial at Hiroshima University put this directly to the test. They fed people 32 grams of miso every day for 3 months and checked their pressure against a control group. The people eating miso dropped their systolic pressure by roughly 3.7 points on average, even though their sodium intake technically went up. The peptides formed during fermentation blocked the ACE enzymes so well that they completely overpowered the salt effect. Plus, those melanoidins act as strong antioxidants right inside your blood vessels, cutting down the oxidative stress that hurts your endothelium. That endothelium is the delicate inner lining where your body actually produces nitric oxide. By keeping that wall healthier, your body creates more of its own nitric oxide, making the boost from your beet juice even stronger. It is exactly like putting a better engine in your car at the same time you are feeding it premium fuel. To bring miso into your routine, make sure you buy raw, traditionally fermented miso paste. This is crucial because pasteurized versions use high heat that kills the helpful peptides and enzymes. Check the label for words like raw or traditionally brewed. White or yellow miso usually offers a milder taste. Take 1 teaspoon of the paste and stir it into 2 tablespoons of slightly warm water first. Never use hot water or you will destroy the living enzymes. Once it is a smooth liquid, mix it right into your beet juice. It brings a mild, savory flavor that actually tastes surprisingly good with the natural sweetness of beets. Try to do this about 5 mornings a week for the best long-term benefits. The longest living people in Okinawa consume miso almost every single day, and their blood pressure profiles in their 80s and 90s often look like people decades younger. Miso handles your blood pressure wonderfully, but the next ingredient on our list goes after a completely different threat hiding right inside your bloodstream. Number 4 is wasabi, the ultimate clot preventer. Most folks outside of Japan have not ever tasted authentic wasabi. That neon green paste sitting beside your restaurant sushi is almost always just dyed horseradish mixed with mustard powder. Authentic wasabi originates from the root of the Wasabia japonica plant, and cultivating it is notoriously difficult since it only thrives in the shadows of cold mountain streams in Japan. Yet all that effort pays off, because hidden in the root is a compound named 6-MITC, which is short for 6-methylsulfinyl-hexyl isothiocyanate. I know that is a mouthful, but its effects on your body are absolutely incredible. Back in 2012, the journal Biochemical Pharmacology released a paper showing that modest amounts of 6-MITC reduced human platelet clumping by roughly 21%. While you certainly need your blood to clot when you get a scrape, too much of that clumping inside your veins builds hazardous blockages that can trigger strokes and heart attacks. Aspirin stops clotting too, but 6-MITC takes a totally different chemical route. Instead of targeting the cyclooxygenase enzyme like aspirin does, it suppresses a protein named PAI1, which is a major factor in why blood clots stick around and expand over time. A 2019 trial at the University of Shizuoka found that folks taking real wasabi extract daily for 6 weeks lowered their PAI1 levels by about 14% compared to the placebo group. A lower PAI1 count means your system can efficiently dissolve minor clots before they turn into lethal problems. Combine this with beet juice and you have a fantastic double defense. The juice's nitric oxide keeps your pathways open for smooth flow, while wasabi's 6-MITC stops dangerous clumps from building up in that flowing blood. Any heart doctor would love that pairing. To add this to your morning routine, you have 2 practical choices. The superior method is ordering fresh wasabi root from Japanese specialty shops online. Grate it on a fine grater and mix about half a teaspoon of the fresh paste into your juice for a solid dose of 6-MITC. It brings a gentle warmth that dissipates fast. Alternatively, find pure wasabi powder where Wasabia japonica is the lone ingredient. No horseradish fillers allowed. Blend a quarter teaspoon of the powder with a tiny bit of water. Wait 5 minutes to activate the 6-MITC enzymes and then stir it into your juice. Make sure to drink it within 15 minutes of prepping, as the compound breaks down quickly when exposed to air and moisture. Fresh always wins over processed, and real wasabi always beats the fake stuff. Try to add this 3 or 4 days a week with your drink. Wasabi keeps clots at bay, but our next edition hones in on the microscopic vessels that everyone else ignores entirely. Number 3 is shiso, the microvessel expander. Also known as perilla, this aromatic mint family herb grows abundantly all over Japan. You often see it garnishing plates of sashimi, wrapping rice balls, or tossed into fresh salads. It resembles a large, jagged basil leaf, and in Japan it is widely viewed as a common everyday garnish rather than medicine. However, packed inside those delicate green and purple leaves is a polyphenol named rosmarinic acid, and it delivers phenomenal benefits to your microscopic blood vessels. Your body is filled with tiny pathways called capillaries, which is where the real work happens. Oxygen, nutrients, and waste all enter or exit your tissues through these microscopic channels. The big issue? Past age 75, your capillary network physically shrinks. Studies featured in the Journal of Gerontology highlight that skeletal muscle capillary density falls by about 25 to 30% between the ages of 40 and 80. This is known as capillary rarefaction, meaning that even if your major arteries are wide open, the final delivery stage to your tissues is fundamentally broken. Shiso's rosmarinic acid fixes this head-on. A 2017 trial from Osaka City University looked at 68 seniors over a 12-week period. Those consuming 100 milligrams of rosmarinic acid every day enjoyed a 15% boost in peripheral microcirculation, proven by laser Doppler flowmetry. The actual blood flow in their tiniest vessels measurably improved. This works because the acid strongly blocks inflammatory cytokines, namely IL-6 and TNF-alpha, which are the exact molecules causing swelling and damage inside delicate capillary walls. By soothing that inflammation, capillaries remain functional and open rather than narrowing and vanishing. Pairing shiso with beet juice makes perfect logical sense. Beet juice uses nitric oxide to widen large and medium arteries. Shiso uses rosmarinic acid to protect and open the tiniest capillaries. Combined, they form a flawless, unbroken delivery route from your heart straight to the farthest tissues in your toes, fingers, brain, and eyes. To prep this, grab 8 to 10 fresh shiso leaves and mash them at the bottom of your glass, just like making a mojito. Pour the beet juice over them and let it steep for 3 to 5 minutes so the liquid absorbs the rosmarinic acid. Swallow the drink with the small leaf bits included for the absolute best absorption. If you cannot buy fresh shiso locally, dried shiso powder works fine from online stores or Japanese markets. Stirring 1 teaspoon of this powder into your juice provides around 80 to 100 milligrams of rosmarinic acid, hitting the perfect therapeutic dose found in the clinical studies. Try to do this every day, since your body does not store much rosmarinic acid, and it demands a consistent daily supply. Shiso handles the microvessels, but our next ingredient is about to completely supercharge the very molecule that makes beet juice so effective in the first place. Number 2 is matcha, the ultimate nitric oxide booster. Matcha is a highly refined powder created from green tea leaves grown strictly in the shade, and it has anchored Japanese culture for 8 centuries. But it is not merely crushed green tea. Because you ingest the actual whole leaf instead of just brewing and throwing it away, you absorb massive amounts of its beneficial elements. The main star here is EGCG, short for epigallocatechin gallate. A 2003 review from the Journal of Chromatography revealed that matcha holds about 137 times more EGCG than regular green tea. Here's exactly why EGCG is a game changer for your circulation. It directly triggers an enzyme inside your blood vessels named endothelial nitric oxide synthase, or ENOS. This is the exact biological machine responsible for naturally producing nitric oxide in your system. So, while beet juice gives you raw nitrates that mouth bacteria turn into nitric oxide, matcha kicks your body's own internal production into high gear at a cellular level. A 2014 study from the European Journal of Cardiovascular Prevention checked flow-mediated dilation, which measures how well vessels stretch when blood flow rises, in people drinking daily matcha for 8 weeks. They observed an improvement of about 2.3%. While that number looks small, it is hugely significant for medical vascular health. Better yet, a massive 2006 Japanese study published in JAMA tracked over 40,000 adults for 11 years. They found that drinking 5 or more cups of green tea a day slashed cardiovascular death risk by 26% compared to those drinking under 1 cup. Because a single serving of matcha packs the antioxidant punch of 10 normal cups, that protection is heavily magnified. Pairing this with beet juice creates an incredibly potent effect. You are attacking nitric oxide production from 2 completely different angles: raw outside nitrates from the juice and ramped up internal production through EGCG activating your ENOS enzymes. Scientists call this additive synergy. To make this mix, ensure you buy culinary or ceremonial grade matcha from a trusted Japanese supplier. Cheap matcha from other countries often lacks EGCG and contains harmful heavy metals. Take about 1 gram, roughly half a teaspoon, and aggressively whisk it into a splash of warm water with a fork or bamboo whisk until smooth and clump-free. Then, pour in your beet juice and stir. The rich, earthy taste of the matcha surprisingly enhances the juice, giving it a fresh garden flavor. Drink this on an empty stomach every morning for maximum results, as food proteins fight the EGCG for absorption in your stomach. One huge warning: never add milk or dairy to this mix. Research from Purdue University proves that milk's casein proteins stick to the EGCG and slash its absorption by 30 to 40%. Keep it purely plant-based and drink it faithfully every morning. Matcha doubles your body's potential, but the absolute top ingredient does something no other natural substance on earth can replicate, and the clinical science is staggering. Number 1 is nattokinase, the supreme clot dissolver. I saved this for last because nothing in nature compares to what this does for your arteries. Nattokinase is a robust fibrinolytic enzyme pulled from natto, a classic Japanese dish of soybeans fermented with Bacillus subtilis bacteria. The fermentation creates nattokinase, and this enzyme has completely fascinated heart scientists for over 30 years because it directly melts away fibrin. Fibrin is the tough protein net that holds blood clots together. When a clot forms, fibrin is the rigid scaffolding locking it in place. Usually your body uses an enzyme named plasmin to break this fibrin apart. But once you hit 75, your plasmin levels plummet, meaning dangerous clots form way faster than your system can dissolve them. Nattokinase steps up and performs the job your weakened plasmin can no longer handle. This breakthrough happened in 1987 when Dr. Hiroyuki Sumi at the University of Chicago dropped some natto onto a plate of fibrin. He watched in total shock as the fibrin completely dissolved in under 18 hours. No natural food had ever shown that kind of raw dissolving power. Since then, the science has exploded. A 2015 randomized trial in Scientific Reports studied 86 people taking 2,000 fibrinolytic units of nattokinase every day for 8 weeks. They saw systolic blood pressure drop by an average of 5.55 points and diastolic by 2.84. But even more critically for circulation, their blood viscosity, which is how sludgy and thick the blood is, improved by about 11% over the placebo group. That means their blood was literally rushing through their veins with measurably less friction. Another 2009 study in nutrition research watched 12 healthy volunteers take the supplement. Their fibrinogen levels, which form the building blocks of those dangerous clots, dropped roughly 7 to 10% in just 2 months. When you combine nattokinase with beet juice, you are building what might be the strongest natural blood flow strategy available without a doctor's prescription. The juice widens your veins with nitric oxide, while nattokinase melts away existing fibrin blockages, thins the blood, and destroys the ingredients needed to form future clots. It is like widening a highway, clearing away the crashed cars, and stopping new accidents all at exactly the same time. Taking it is simple. Because natto itself has a notoriously pungent smell and slimy texture that Westerners hate, nattokinase is usually swallowed as a supplement pill. Find a high-quality brand offering at least 2,000 fibrinolytic units per pill, matching the clinical trial dosages. Swallow it with your morning beet juice on an empty stomach so the enzymes don't compete with breakfast food for absorption. One vital warning. If you take pharmaceutical blood thinners like heparin, warfarin, or even daily aspirin, you must consult your doctor before using nattokinase. It boosts blood thinning effects, and combining them blindly could severely increase your risk of bleeding. But for everyone else, taking nattokinase and beet juice every day is the absolute best way to achieve that top 1% blood flow Japanese scientists keep finding in their healthiest seniors. So there you go. All 6 ancient Japanese secrets to turn a basic glass of beet juice into a total circulatory masterclass. From kombu shielding your walls and miso dropping your pressure, to wasabi halting clots, shiso expanding microscopic vessels, matcha supercharging your nitric oxide, and nattokinase melting away years of silent blockages. Each targets a specific flaw in your system, and alongside beet juice, they tackle every single issue required to maintain vigorous blood flow past 75. Pick 1 or 2 ingredients to start, get used to the routine, and slowly introduce the rest over the next month. Your blood flow didn't vanish in a day, and fixing it requires persistent effort over perfection. But the science is absolute, the research is undeniable, and the benefits are ready for anyone willing to try it. If this video opened your eyes, hit the subscribe button right now so you don't miss my future breakdowns on the real science of a longer, healthier life. Thank you so much for tuning in.